Hi, Katie. Hi, Jules. We're so excited to have you on today. I am definitely really excited to have you on today. You two have changed my life and you don't even know it.
And mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa and Alex. It's great to be here.
No, you really have changed our lives. Actually, just before you came on, that's what we were saying. We were just both saying we can't believe our lives ever operated normally. And I do that in air inverted commas, because we don't know how we operated before we found you two and tapping. We literally with each other now and go, oh, I am so annoyed.
We do. We actually do this.
It's the best when you've got a friend that knows as well.
Yeah, well, the other day we were sat in Lisa's kitchen and our other friend Joe was there, and we were talking about something that clearly triggered the pair of us. I can't remember what it was now, and we were both there subconsciously tapping the sides of our hands. He said, "What are you doing?" And we went, "We're tapping." No, mate, we actually took her through a round, didn't we, Lisa?
Yeah, we did. It really helped her as well.
Oh,
didn't
that's
it?
fantastic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good to
This
hear.
is the thing, Katie and Jules, when we find something we love, you know how excessive we are, like we was with drinking, with everything that we do. So now I really love tapping and I'm like, I want to learn how to do it. I want to, but lots of people have been asking us about it, haven't they?
Yeah, loads. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We're genuinely interested. So
It is a bit addictive.
it is
addictive. It really is.
But it's a healthy addiction.
Yeah.
It's a healthy addiction.
That's right. Just put that in there.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's like, anything that irritates you, anything that bothers you, anything that upsets, any emotion, any negative emotion.
Yeah.
Literally do
Or
it.
physical pain too.
I've not tried that yet, but you know what? I had a
Yeah.
pain yesterday after my massive walk. And I just came in and I had to go to bed. And I didn't actually even give tapping a thought. That is going to stick in I'm going to try my migraine.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday, I went for a huge walk with the Be Sober lot. And there was a bit of scrambling involved in this. And I was in pain, honestly. I really was. And I tapped to get up a hill. And I genuinely did. I was like, I hate this hill. My legs are killing me.
Perfect.
But
I love it.
At first, what I found really difficult was saying the negative and tapping. Do you remember when we first spoke? I found that so difficult. Oh, I can't get enough of it now. I absolutely love it. I hated that hill. It was massive. My legs were hurting. Everyone were horrible.
But it
That's
does
awesome.
it does bring out I don't know how it works, and I know you explain this brilliantly, Jules, but once you tap on the negative, those positive thoughts just come.
Yeah.
They do.
So shall we do a little quick explanation of what EFT is?
Yeah, go for it. Let's hear about it.
Anybody that's been under a rock and hasn't heard about it. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. So there's more than one technique, but usually when we're working with people for just a few sessions, we really stick to what we call basic EFT. So what it is it's an evidence-based stress reduction tool. So basically we tap on these little acupressure points. Sometimes people call it, it's like psychological acupressure. So we're using our 2 fingers and we tap on the side of the hand to start with. And then we sort of spend the first part of a session deciding, all right, what's an emotion or a thought or a feeling that you want to get rid of or reduce. And then as a practitioner, we help put together a little setup statement. So we'd say, even though I really hate these hills, my bum's really sore and my legs are aching, I accept myself anyway, even though I really hate these hills. So as you say, Alex, by focusing on the negative, we're actually just saying the truth, whatever's in your mind. But people feel like that's a bit weird. Shouldn't we be trying to be positive? But what happens when we say the negative and tap on the points? Like, I really hate these hills. I really hate these hills. We tap on these little acupressure points. It's like that thought or feeling gets turned down in the mind and the body. And then, it's just amazing how it works, isn't it? It's kind of a bit of a superpower, we think, don't we, Katie?
Absolutely.
It is a superpower. We think you're incredible. You are super women.
Well, the other beautiful thing, as you've both just illustrated perfectly, is that once you know how to do it, and it is best to initially work with a practitioner so you can really get your head around what it looks like, what it feels like, and to experience the shifts, is that you can do it yourself. You're not reliant on having to go to someone and work through stuff. You can actually pull it out, going up a hill, in the toilet, in the office, in your bedroom while you're laying down with a migraine. Yeah. What did you say? Because your partner's annoying you?
I said when your business partner's annoying you.
Oh, business partner. Yeah, absolutely. You can both go off into separate rooms. Tap, 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 tap.
Together. We're actually together, and definitely my fingers are getting shorter. No, they're not.
And you don't have to be hard on your tapping points. It's a very gentle tap.
Yeah, just get that in there.
Absolutely.
So something that you two are doing is helping women in particular stop drinking through tapping. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that works?
Yeah. So I can just tell you very quickly how it came about, if you don't mind.
That's great.
The impetus was really dry July, which is what we have in Australia. So you abstain for 1 month in July, without having alcohol, and the purpose of that is actually a fundraiser. And I've done that for quite a few years with my husband. And I was talking to Jules about it, and Jules had actually already stopped drinking for a month before that, as a result of making that decision. Had enough, ready, let it go. And she was like, "Ooh, what a good idea to have maybe a support program during Dry July to help more people." Because there is so much, you can give up alcohol, yes, but there is so much underlying that to stop that from actually happening. So Jules and I put our little heads together and came up with the program for Dry July. And we worked with women in Australia and the US. Ideally, we'll work with women everywhere, but that tended to be the two groups that we worked with. So each week we met with them online, live, and we had an educational piece around alcohol, which I know that you both know inside and out, in terms of the psychological, physiological and emotional stuff anchored to drinking. Together with actually tapping for an hour with the group. So we were working either one-on-one, or we had two ladies that we'd work with if we had enough time, to really work out what's going on for them. What are those negative thoughts, beliefs, feelings about not having that alcohol? And that covered a range of things, from fear of missing out to how do I numb that stressful feeling? How do I deal with that anxiety? I can't live my life without alcohol. Just it covered so much. And the cravings is a really critical one as well. So working on cravings, because it's powerful for cravings, not just alcohol, but any craving of any sort, which is good for people to know if they've got chocolate cravings. And so it was so successful. We've got women in that program that are still not drinking. They may have come in with the goal of just abstaining for that month, but it's nearly 2 months on, or it is 2 months on, and they're still not drinking. And these are ladies that were drinking a huge amount, who thought at the beginning, I'm not going to be able to do this. And so that was purely through, I think that the educational piece was really critical too, don't you think, Jules?
Yeah, plus the one-on-one sessions.
Correct.
So we do, with all the women in the Dry July program, we gave them all a one-on-one session, which is 90 minutes, which is just that person with either Katie or myself. And so both you guys have experienced this, having someone just focusing solely on your issues. So what comes up for you when you think about not drinking for a month? Well, I'm shit scared. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm anxious. I'm going to hate my husband when I don't drink and he's drinking. I just hate him. He annoys me. And so they kind of go, blah, this is all my stuff. And we basically pick some things to focus on, tap down the intensity around that stress, anxiety, annoyance, lack of confidence. I can't do it. I can't even go a night without wine. Who am I thinking I can go a month? And then also usually we try to tap on a craving with them as well, just so that they all kind of came into the program feeling pretty strong because of that 90-minute session. So that's another really important component of it. And then some of them had other single sessions with one of us throughout the month, but others didn't. But just for that reason, and some of them have continued having sessions with us, and some of them were clients of ours before, and some of them are still clients of ours now, but we decided for Sober October that we'd actually include 2 individual sessions, because it's just so important to get to kind of the bottom of why am I doing this to myself? Because a lot of the women would say, I don't want to drink anymore. I'm sick of drinking. I'm done with drinking. But, you know, that's how I feel at 4 a.m. when I've been awake for an hour hating myself. But come 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm going to be gagging for a wine. And so, you know, we kind of really help them with that cognitive dissonance. EFT is fabulous for just reducing that, all that kind of really negative emotion, just bringing down the charge around it, so people can kind of feel like, yeah, no, I do want to do this, and I'm doing this by myself, and there'll be a lot of positive.
Can I just say, I think you're going to be massively busy in November, because people aren't going to want to stop after 2 sessions.
Just thinking that, like, how does anybody stop after 2 sessions? Like I just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, that's the thing. As soon as you do start tapping, it does unravel, and it's done in a really gentle and safe way, because, you know, we've got stuff buried that's sometimes too painful to go there, or we don't even know that's there. And once you do start kind of taking away what it is that we're doing to numb it, which in this case is drinking, it does sort of put that spotlight on what's actually happening. And so tapping is that really cool tool to address that, and to do it in a really nice way, rather than sitting there talking, ruminating and punishing yourself.
You know what I think,
you know, sorry, go on, Lisa.
Is really early on, I think it was the first time we spoke to you, one of you said the thing is not the thing, or the thing is not the thing.
Yeah.
And like every time I have a tap-in session with Katie, I'm like, the thing is not the thing. I'm not mad at that, or I'm not upset at that, or that isn't annoying me. Actually, it's because when I was 6, this happened. That's kind of like really shocked me.
Do you know, though, I hope you don't mind me saying, Lisa, well, it don't matter if you do, because I'm going to say it anyway. But when, you know, I've been best friends with Lisa for over 30 years, as you well know. And even in our whole time together, I'm the one who will openly talk about my past, my childhood, my memories. And Lisa will quite often say, right, okay, well, you know, she's very sympathetic. I'm going to make this sound blunt. It's never, I've got to cut it short.
I can feel it. I'm tapping on this.
So it's never horrible. I'm just going to cut it short. But the message that Lisa delivers in a very empathetic way is, okay, it's time to move on now. Let's focus on the now. Right. So she's not one to go back into her past. So when she's coming on the phone to me, Katie, and she's saying, oh my God, I could see my 6-year-old self, I'm like, excuse the language, what the fuck? I've been friends with this woman for 31 years. Anything about 6-year-old Lisa?
You know, you're learning a whole lot.
I know.
And the thing is, though, I was just going to say, when you start to work with those younger memories, you start to get more compassion for yourself, don't you? Don't you find, you know, you can just,
Not negative, though. It's not negative, and it's not dwelling. You know, like Jules and I the other day were tapping on the fact that I had no signal in a meeting with Lisa. And I was really frustrated. And then it came out that I had fear of missing out. Then I was afraid of being betrayed. And then it went deeper and deeper. And all of a sudden it boils down to one memory when I was like 5. One memory. It's like, it was my dad lighting a cigarette after he promised to stop drinking. And it popped in like a blinding flash of, you know, I didn't have to dig for this. It just came in. There's your message. That's what the issue is. That's why you feel betrayed. That's why you don't trust people when they tell you things. That's why you don't speak up and you're a bit of a yes woman. And all of a sudden I'm sat there thinking, oh my God, what do I do? You know, we've got another session now to try and, what was it called, Jules, that you said that you changed the
matrix
re-imprinting.
Yeah.
So matrix re-imprinting is where I guide you through a process where you work on that little younger self, and you do tapping with her, and you ask her, how did you feel when that happened, and what kind of message did you take on about yourself or the world? And then and the trauma kind of clears pretty quickly in the little ones, and then we ask them, so what do you want to do now? And then quite often they just want to go and play with you at home on the swings or do something cute like that, and then we This is sounding a bit weird, isn't it? But anyway, this is how it
I'm
works.
not ready for this
Then
one.
I haven't broached it with you yet, but we're going to go there.
Okay. So then we ask her, so what do you want to do? And she might say, so little 5-year-old Alex might say, well, I want to just go home with you and watch the telly and eat a bowl of popcorn. And so then I'll get Alex to like really visualize that. And then basically we do a really beautiful process where we re-imprint that memory over the one that was there, the traumatic memory. So instead of feeling not listened to, betrayed, what she says isn't important, the memory that gets re-imprinted is she's feeling really safe and loved and secure and happy, and you're there with her and having a lovely time. And doing that process just sets up this, it's just really hard to explain, but it has all these ripple effects into every little part of your life like you wouldn't even believe.
So it incorporates,
that's not basic EFT, that's advanced EFT. Don't do that in the first couple of sessions.
It incorporates tapping, yeah.
And I can see why you kind of don't talk
but it's
in the early, in the early stages, why you stick to kind of the basic EFT, because when you say that out loud, if you'd have said that to me right at the beginning, actually, get your little self and we're going to sort her out, I'd have been like, no, you're never going to.
No way.
You're not going to be able to do that. That's rubbish.
No.
Honestly, and I'm very skeptical about most things. I'm there. Yeah. I know this is going to work. I know it's going to work because I'm there. I'm at that point of needing and wanting.
Yeah. And the only reason I brought it up with you, Alex, is because like Katie, she's like, I can see her. She's like right in front of me. I can see her at the pub. So it was like, you can't sort of just go do matrix re-imprinting on anything. The person has to have an actual memory, a scene, anyway. But usually we would do just basic EFT with people because we want to be modelling. You could do this for yourself. So if you're feeling really frustrated because you had no single, this is how you would do it. Even though I'm feeling really frustrated, blah, blah, blah.
Shall we do some basic EFT then? Shall we do that now on you, Lisa? Because I think you was going to do some. Oh, look. Go on, you do some.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not ready to bring out my little girl self on session.
Gee whizzes.
We won't be doing that. What we'll be doing is something, what we call at the shallow end of the pool. The deeper end is for when you're doing one-on-one with a practitioner, when it's in that confidential safe space. So can I just say, the thing is not the thing. I do just need to attribute that to one of our colleagues, Monica Owens. She actually came up with it and now it's been coined because I think, Lisa, it's such an important aspect to what we do when we have like the presenting issue. In this case, it could just be, I can't give up alcohol.
Yeah.
But there's that's not the thing. It's deep down. So I do just need to say that about Monica because we love it. The thing is not the thing. All right.
Thank you, Monica. I love it too.
Totally. So let's just work on something so everyone can get a sense for what it looks like and sounds like, because I know that people will be listening to this and not necessarily looking and watching. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, Lisa, because it's really important that I use your words and that we can be as specific as possible. Sometimes we do have to start quite generally to narrow things down, but in this case, we'll try and get as specific as we can. Right. So if we think about, we did talk about something offline that could be a good one for a lot of people, and that's about getting up early in the morning. Is that one that you want to work on now?
Definitely. I think we're doing Smash September with some of our members, and one of the things is set your alarm earlier. Now, a few weeks ago, I was doing this and I was doing the miracle morning and getting up at 5:30, and I was like, this is amazing. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And 2 weeks after, done, gone. It's the worst thing ever. Don't want to get up. I use Alexa as my alarm. So I set her before I go to bed. And so for last night, for instance, I thought, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up at 5:30. And I said, Alexa, wake me up at 6 a.m. because so it started even at night already thinking, and I never used to do this, but I've started counting the hours and thinking, am I going to have enough hours sleep? What if I wake up tired? I don't want to, so I've been finding that when I'm getting up, I'm not really wanting to do it like I was, which is annoying.
Okay, so what I could actually do is go back to 2 weeks ago when you had this amazing 2 weeks of getting up at 5:30 thinking it was awesome, and then suddenly you went, I don't want to do this anymore. I could start there and go, well, what actually happened? What took place then? But maybe for the purpose of this exercise, we'll go with thinking about tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And Alexa waking you up at 6 a.m. Does Alexa say, hi, Lisa, welcome to the morning? Or what does she do?
No, she's not polite at all. She just does this really like, she does an alarm sound.
Like a blaring alarm. Okay, so thinking about Alexa sending off her alarm at 6 a.m. in the morning, what's the emotion that's coming up for you?
Right, I'd really like to set her at 5:30. That's what I'd love to do. I'd love to get at that time.
So let's think about 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So thinking about getting up tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. and I'll get you to start tapping on the side of the hand like Jules is doing now. And for the ones that people aren't listening, it's the fleshy part on the side of your hand, and you're tapping with 2 or 3 fingers, and it's just a gentle tap, like you just sort of tap on a table. So either hand you can use, and so just thinking about waking up at 5:30 tomorrow morning to Alexa's blaring alarm.
Yeah.
What's the emotion that's coming up for you now?
The first thing I'm going to do is say Alexa snooze.
And thinking about saying...
Yeah, I'm going to want to say snooze for an extra... Like, I want to do it. I know it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that it's too early and I'm going to feel tired.
Uh-huh.
And I need
that
extra sleep.
Okay. So thinking about that, is it worry that's coming up for you?
Yeah.
Right now? And if you were to rate that worry, which we need to do, we rate the emotion so we can actually make sure that the tapping's working, and we want to ideally reduce the emotional intensity. So thinking about that worry, if you were to rate that from 0 to 10, 10 being just intense worry, 0, I don't care, what would the worry be sitting at right now?
Probably about an 8 or 9.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's quite high, that. Was that higher than you thought?
Shallow end of the pool, yeah.
Not so shallow, but that's okay. We'll go there. Because you do...
I started thinking about it, the more I thought, I've got to do this all of September. So, yeah, it's higher.
You just need to think about tomorrow morning. Don't worry about the next. Don't worry about Thursday. Just worry about Wednesday. That's okay. Because I know that because you've been tapping for a while, you shift quite quickly. So that's all good. So are you feeling that worry anywhere in your body?
Oh, probably in my chest.
In your chest. Okay. So what we now do is just repeat, as Jules said, we have a setup statement, which I'm going to say, and you're going to repeat it. And then we just accept this is just how we feel. And we say this 3 times as we're tapping on the side of our hand. So even though just thinking about tomorrow morning.
Even though just thinking about tomorrow morning.
At 5:30, getting up to Alexa blaring.
At 5:30, getting up to Alexa blaring.
I want to say, Alexa, snooze.
I want to say, Alexa, snooze.
Because I'll be worried that I won't have had enough sleep.
Because I'll be worried that I won't have had enough sleep.
And too tired.
Too tired.
And thinking about that.
I'm thinking about that.
I feel this worry in my chest.
I feel this worry in my chest.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
Good. And even though just thinking about getting up tomorrow morning at 5:30.
And even though just thinking about getting up tomorrow morning at 5:30.
Because I've committed to smash September.
Because I've committed to smash September.
And I have to.
And I have to.
But I'm going to know that I'll hit the snooze on Alexa.
But I'm going to know that I'm going to hit the snooze on Alexa.
Because I'm worried I'm going to be tired.
I'm worried I'm going to be tired.
And just thinking about that.
And just thinking about that.
I feel this worry in my chest.
I feel this worry in my chest.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
And one more time, even though just thinking about getting up tomorrow morning at 5:30.
Even though just thinking about getting up tomorrow morning at 5:30.
I want to say to Alexa, snooze.
I want to say to Alexa, snooze.
Because I'm worried I won't have enough sleep.
Because I'm worried I won't have enough sleep.
And I'll be tired.
And I'll be tired.
And just thinking about that, I feel worried in my chest.
And just thinking about that, I feel worried in my chest.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
But I can still accept myself and how I feel.
Beautiful. So we're then just going to go to the top of the head, and we're just going to repeat this worry.
This worry.
And then the start of the eyebrow, this worry.
This worry.
And then the side of the eye, this worry.
This worry.
And then under the eye, this worry.
This worry.
Under the nose, this worry.
This worry.
And then under the chin, just in the little crevice part, this worry in my chest.
This worry in my chest.
And then we go to the collarbone point, which is just down a little bit from your collarbone where you do a bow tie. So you need to say again, this worry.
This worry.
And then just under your armpit, about a hand width down from your armpit on the bra line for women, this worry.
This worry.
And then just taking a small breath in and coming back to the side of the hand. And I'm just going to ask you, just thinking about tomorrow morning and waking up at 5:30.
You know, already, and this is what fascinates me, because I don't think I'd believe it if I were listening to this, because it did start quite high. Like, honestly, I already know that I'm going to get up and actually quite enjoy it. Like, and that is just with one round. And I don't know whether that's because we've been working together every week, or whether, can it do it that quickly? Because I reckon I'm going to be all right tomorrow morning.
It can. It absolutely can. And sometimes it could actually increase, because as you're tuning into your body, you could actually go back up. And that's why we need to check and say, how's it feeling? You said it was an 8 or a 9, then we'd get your next rating. It could come down to a 3. If it's 8 or 9, we'd not like it to go any higher, but it could do. Or it could actually bring up a memory that's linked to, for example, a time in your life, and it could be when you're a kid and you had to set the alarm for the first time and you're in that deep sleep and suddenly you hear this blaring alarm and that caused you to feel angry, or it could have caused you to feel whatever the emotion. So that's the beauty once we start tapping, because of the actual process itself can start to awaken our subconscious and memories and bring other stuff up.
I just think it's amazing. You can feel it as you're going round. You know, like by the time we'd done the 3 just on my hand, I was thinking, no, you're not even that worried now. Do you know what I mean?
Like, were you making that up?
What are you talking about?
So I'll message you tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Because when it's 5:30 for you, it'll be 2:30 here, and I'll say, Lisa, are you awake? How are you feeling?
And she'll go, I am.
Alexa, thank you.
Mention actually something that Katie massively helped me with was watching a film with my daughter, my youngest daughter, and I think this is what really has changed. Like I've started a series and everything now. So when I first started talking with Katie, I found films really hard to watch. I didn't want to sit there. I wanted to be picking up my phone. Yet my daughter loves watching films, and I really wanted to spend that time and not just be there. I wanted to be present and to enjoy that time with her. And now nearly every night she's like, what should we watch tonight, Mum?
Oh, that's
and you're
beautiful.
doing it. But I've had a similar experience with Jules, about 2 similar experiences. And you know, like when you were just saying then about when I was first doing the tapping, my 8 out of 10 would incrementally go down, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. It took a lot longer. But now, honestly, the last time we tapped, I went from a 9 to a 2 in one round. And it was,
it's beautiful. Tightness
in my chest went straight away, even after the side of the hand went completely. And I've never had anything that can get rid of that. Anything. And
that's so good.
Have that go. Honestly, it makes me, I wish that I could see you in real life, because it makes me want to throw my arms around you and hug you, because life.
That's beautiful.
Walk down your whole adult life with a horrible feeling of dread in your chest when you suffer from anxiety and depression is irritating. It really is. And to be able to just sit for 5 minutes and tap and that go and live the next 3 or 4 hours without it, even if I have to do it again, it has, honestly, it makes me want to cry. It has changed my life completely.
That's beautiful.
I've never found anything that works like this, and like ever. And I know that my anxiety is bad. It's, you know, it's put me out of work for months on end, my anxiety, months on end. And now I can manage a day, and then I can do it the next day and the next day. And sometimes I've found that I must be getting better because I've had 2 or 3 days without needing to do it. And then thought, oh, I've not had that horrible feeling in my chest since Monday. You know, it's like, that's never
so good.
life ever.
Love
ever.
that. Love
No,
that. And that,
really cool, hey.
and that's why for the Sober October, it's so good, because that's the stuff, those feelings, that tightness, that anxiety. That's why, you know, a lot of people want to go, I'm just going to have a glass of wine to deal with that.
Yeah. It's definitely why I drank, was because, and I didn't know it until I stopped drinking, which is a weird thing as well. But the reason I drank was definitely to ease my anxiety. I did not know. I thought I drank because I enjoyed it, but no, 100% it was to stop me having this feeling of anxiety. And that's why by Thursday I'd be wanting a drink again, because I'd feel crap on a Monday, I'd feel pretty rubbish on a Tuesday. Wednesday I'm thinking, yeah, it's middle of the week, you're not going to drink. Thursday it's, oh well, you've only got 1 more day to the weekend. And that's through the working week, that anxiety would get worse and worse and worse. And then I would drink to numb it out. So I didn't realise I was as anxious as I am until after I stopped, which, you know, we talk about a lot on here. And I think for a lot of people, so that yes, your anxiety gets better because you're not waking up in the middle of the night with that horrible beer fear, but to realise you've got anxiety, and then to have something like this that doesn't, you know, you don't have to take medicine, you're not putting anything nasty in your body, it's natural, it's easy, it fits in wherever you are, you know. I the squeezing the tips of the fingers when I can't sit there like this or don't want to, I use this, squeezing the tips of the fingers to just give myself a little bit of, I can't explain that. You're gonna have to do it. If you just squeeze the tips of all your fingers and just for a second, and then let the calm.
There's meridian points there as well. Yeah,
it's amazing the calm that comes over you. I love it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, what I would love to ask you two is about your drinking, because you both don't drink now. Was that something that you'd planned, or was you just doing it for Jules? I know you said you stopped the month before. What were your reasons, Jules, actually, to stop drinking?
So I've been drinking since I was like 13, like binge drinking with my older sister and older people, and I just drank my whole life basically, just stopped for pregnancies and breastfeeding and that sort of thing. And then my drinking probably got really worse when my mum got diagnosed with cancer and died 10 months later. And then we moved interstate, I just said I want to run away. And so we did run away, but all the problems, you know, wherever you go, there they are. So I was drinking heavily back at home because Dad would just keep topping up the glass because he didn't want me to go home because he was lonely and he missed Mum. So it was a real codependent thing. He'd say, darling, I'm having takeaway. Do you want to come around? Like, he was just lonely. So I'd go around there and he'd have boxes of wine and he'd just top me up until I couldn't drive home. So it didn't take long before really I had quite the problem. Not that I didn't have a problem before, but now it was a bigger problem. And then when we moved here, all the people I met were drinkers, and drinking was how we socialised and how we connected and just what we did. And then I just had a big fight with my brother in 2015 at my dad's 75th birthday. And I was drunk and I couldn't remember what I said. And I just decided the next day, like, I was so done with drinking anyway. I looked foul. And I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to have a break. And that turned into a 2.5-year period of not drinking, during which I reckon I felt and looked the best I'd felt and looked in years. And then I kind of just let it back in around 2017. And so this year, like, I would just feel crap every time I drank. If I drank even 2 beers, I felt like shit. If I drank 2/3 of a bottle of wine, I would feel bad for like 2 or 3 days. I hated it. So I gave up in May because I accidentally drank a bottle of champagne at a friend's place and then poured myself a glass of red. And I thought, you think you can do moderation, but you are the same. It always creeps up, you know. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done. And then when Katie mentioned the dry July thing, and we got our little heads together. So I'd been not drinking for a month, and I had that real high, like, oh, I feel so good, I'm sleeping so well, everything's wonderful because I'm not drinking. And she had the like, oh, I want what she's having. And we do dry July anyway. And so, yeah, that's how we, yeah. And now, like, because we spend a lot of our time tapping with women who are wanting to give up alcohol, it really reminds me how much I don't want to go back. Like, I don't ever want to go back to that place where, because I know I'd end up the same. You know, like I could go to the Indian restaurant and have 2 Coronas with my husband and go home and that's it, have an ice cream instead. But it wouldn't be long before I'd be at a friend's drinking a whole bottle and then opening another. Like, that's just, I'm just one of those humans.
Yeah, I like that. I accidentally drank a bottle of champagne. That's what I used to be like, oh, I accidentally I used to say it on my
Where'd that go?
Like, I accidentally got smashed last night.
Yeah.
No control.
What about you, Katie?
Similar in terms of probably not 13, probably, 15, 16. And for me, it was to handle being bullied at school and trying to numb that shit out and then trying to be part of the cool kids. And so it's always been a heavy part of my life. I think sort of in the earlier teens, early 20s, it was just weekends. And then when I became like an adult and took on more responsibilities, and I saw how family members dealt with that sort of stuff, and it was coming home and having a drink of wine. So it's kind of a bit of learned behaviour, then the addiction hit. Good intentions of only drinking from Thursday to Sunday, went to Monday to Sunday. And then you'd have every excuse to drink, like, oh, let's celebrate the fact that we had a good day, or our daughter did something amazing, or I've had a really crap day and it's a Monday when we shouldn't be drinking. And towards the end of, or starting Dry July, the amount that I was actually consuming, I don't think I've been really honest, it was just revolting. Like, my husband and I are now not drinking, my husband's not drinking as well. And it's a savings of about $300 a week.
Wow.
I know. And when you kind of think of that, but the health benefits for me in terms of sleeping, feeling more energetic, actually being in the profession that Jules and I are, we need to be present for our clients, and I need to have my cognitive abilities there switched on. And now I realize that, there was probably moments when I was really dull. And then even with my daughter, just being fully present for her, times of reacting to small things because of alcohol, now I realize that I shouldn't have been like that. And just energetically in the household, it's much more peaceful and calm. And I don't know that I could go back to drinking. So now we're just, rolling on. And also I think the fact that the educational piece, like I think for me, I was a little ignorant in terms of what alcohol really was and the impact on our bodies. And we've subscribed a lot to Annie Grace's work, and I've read both. I'm reading her This Naked Mind at the moment, and the 30-day experiment, but also the other resources that we've been tapping into. And I've just found that fascinating in terms of the neuroscience components and just the stuff behind the scenes that's really driving that need to drink. So,
once you know, don't you?
Oh,
you can't know what you know. And for me, and I know for Lisa, and look this up because he's amazing and he's our friend as well, William Porter, Alcohol Explained and Alcohol Explained Too. If you've not read those, please give.
I've been listening to him. Yeah,
it's for me. Annie Grace's book was one of the first I read, and I loved her. But William's books absolutely sealed the deal for me.
Brilliant.
The science in there, especially with what you do and how much you know about the science of the mind and the psychology and the biology. You'll never go back once you've read William. He's so blunt, isn't he?
Yeah. Was he in like what did he do? It was in
he was a paratrooper.
A paratrooper, and you can tell with his writing style that it was a paratrooper. But I just love it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
that's
so
good.
Cool. Yeah, he just goes like, why would you do that? Why would you put poison in your body? It's fluffing around or fluffing it up. He just says it.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, and honestly, they're both really good books. I actually listened to both of them on Audible, and I've read one as well. But either way, whether you read it or listen to it, didn't you, Lisa?
Yeah, definitely. It's really good. Perfect. I think it's like what you said. Once you know, you can't unknow it, and it's like And I don't think it's that you was ignorant to it. It's just the way it's sold to us from being
that's true.
really small. We're not supposed to know, are we? And I think
No.
Yeah. Yeah. If we knew, we wouldn't buy it. You know, we'd be a rubbish.
No.
Wouldn't we, bro?
somebody,
that's-
you know, if it had labels on the back, like you have to label things, but wine, you don't have to put a warning sign.
They do in
But I
Australia.
smoked all those years. I smoked, and they had the labels. Like I just was going to say, actually knowing the health problems doesn't really stop people. This is where we could see there's a real niche here in terms of EFT, because this is where I had the idea to contact you guys, because we were listening to you doing a podcast with Lotta Dan.
Yeah.
And everyone was going like, oh, they were talking about cravings and feeling down and feeling grumpy. I'm thinking, man, these people really need to learn about tapping. Like, because how crappy do you feel? Like, yeah, there's that kind of euphoria when you first drink, when you first stop drinking, but it's hard going initially, right? And the cravings, like, honestly, I mean, Alex, I was going to ask you about your coffee, because you were drinking like 15 cups a day, and then we did just a little like 20-minute tap on your cravings for coffee, and how many coffees are you having a day?
On average now, and it's not, but on average, no more than 5, so usually 2 to 3 now. And
that's brilliant.
It's gone from 3 jugs, I am not joking, sometimes 4, down to, I only make 1 jug now. And the best thing is, and again, it's on average, because some days do differ. If I'm kind of working and I've got things going on, you put the kettle on because there's other people there, and I'll do that. But on average, I'll only make 1 jug, and it's gone before kind of 2 o'clock. So it's certainly not keeping me, it's not having that impact on me that it was having at night, because I didn't realise, and I know, I say I didn't realise, I probably didn't want to know, that's
acknowledge it.
Restless legs in the night.
Plus, you were having like the double cream in there.
Yeah, I still
like the cream, and was it sugar as well?
No, I don't have sugar.
But if you're not having that in 15 cups, if you're having that in 2 or 4 cups instead of 15 cups, like just, anyway, the reason I brought that up was because we just did a quick little tapping on a craving for coffee.
Yeah.
Only 1 time.
Yeah.
So this is what we want to get across to people, the potential. So if you have, you know, mean cravings for wine or beer or gin and tonic or whatever it is, like I have just not found anything else that works for cravings. Like you can surf the urge all you want, Annie, but man, there's nothing like actually tapping, because often people end up being like, oh, I've just had this memory of, you know, sitting out the back at granddad's, and granddad and dad and mum and everyone's having a drink, and I just was thinking, oh, this really brings the family together. And so, and they're kind of like all of a sudden aware, alcohol is about bringing people together. You know, beer is about feeling connected to the people I love. And so people get, it's not just, I mean, sometimes it is just, like we don't want to give people the impression that memories are popping out all over the place when you just do a little bit of tapping, because often that's not the case. Like often we're just doing, even though I've got this craving for wine, but when you do go a bit deeper with a practitioner, people will get these memories and it really makes sense to them. Okay, so that's what this represents to me. Like I started drinking a lot when my husband left me, when my mum died, when that was a really shit time in my life. And anyway, it just, it's such
or
a
even the good time, as you said,
kind of,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This is how we connect and bond and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to say, I know it's not quite the same as a craving, but I did 1 session with Jules just on not taking my phone up the stairs when I'm putting my little boy to bed, because it was a massive thing for me. And it's here now, you know, it's on the side. I kept it out of the way, but it would be here under the pillow while I'm reading a story, and then I'd be pulling it out if I felt it vibrate, or looking or checking my watch, and it was constantly interrupting. And honestly, I had full-on fear of just leaving it downstairs. That was 3 weeks ago now, I think, Jules, we did that session, 3 weeks coming up, and my phone hasn't been upstairs once. And that wasn't trying, it's just, it was all, this is what I couldn't get over. It was automatic. I just went upstairs that night, bathed my little boy, did his story, and came downstairs and thought, oh my God, I didn't take my phone. It wasn't.
That's so good.
It was, and you know,
not only you're benefiting, but your son's benefiting, your family's benefiting.
Yeah, but
beautiful.
that's been the biggest life-changing thing for me, because the coffee, secretly, I wish I could drink 15, you know, even if it's the thing for
We
me.
could tap on that.
But yeah, well, that's the thing. And I know we said we're going
We
to
only
do
did a 20-minute.
Dude,
Yeah.
it costs me a fortune when she comes to my house, because we have fresh coffee, and it's like really expensive.
Yeah.
But it is.
We can tap on that too.
the craving for it. You know, I'm not waking up and thinking, oh my God, I need my coffee, or 3 o'clock, I need coffee. That has gone.
Yeah.
Any coffee I have now is a deliberate, mindful thing that I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
I want one. So it, you know, to have that around alcohol, and you know, not one session, you're talking doing work with people.
Multiple. Yeah.
It's going to go 100%. I would defy, in fact, I'm going to challenge anyone listening to this. If you've got cravings for alcohol, these two ladies can and will get rid of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the point is, you know, when you're talking about the phone, so there's a difference between like the willpower. I don't want to bring the phone up. It's so hard, and I'm going to try and leave it downstairs. The difference is when you're doing tapping. So when we're tapping, we're working on the particular little neural pathways in your brain that have, you know, been firing together and wiring together for years around whatever it is to do with the phone, right? And so once those neural pathways have changed, the thought's not there anymore. So there's not the same desire to pick up the phone, right? So this is what people find, it's hard to explain it if you've got to kind of experience it. But instead of thinking about it all the time, now you're just not even thinking about it. So there's like, it's not hard if there's no desire, is there?
No, that's the thing.
And it's the same with alcohol, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard to not drink because there's no desire to drink wine anymore. So I don't find it hard to see other people drinking because I just think, you've got your drink, I've got my drink. But I've tapped on the cravings, and I've just
no judgment.
No judgment. But you know, if the desire is not there, it's not hard at all.
That's right.
That's the thing, and that's what I think is really important. I don't think about taking my phone upstairs anymore. That for me has been the biggest life changer overall, because it's the thing I needed so much out of my life, to be present for my little boy. And if you don't, like you say, you don't, the thing was the thing in that case, by the way. The thing was the thing.
That thing, that phone, that mobile thing.
Yeah.
Except, you know what? It represented guilt around being a shit mother. Like I said, and how do you feel when you think about yourself checking the phone when you're reading a story? You said, well, I'm a crap mother. So, you know, it represents, and exactly what Lisa was saying, it's like, I want to be present, and I know I'm not being present, and I feel like a crap mother when I'm not being present. So isn't it interesting that these are things that you both wanted to focus your time and work on?
Definitely. Yeah. We've said that, haven't we? When we've spoke to each other, we was like, oh, I was tapping on that too.
We're just like, we've become one person, you know, like people say, you become like the person that you take on characteristics of the 5 people you associate with the most. Well, together that much, we're just like, we're just
blending.
We were talking about this actually earlier as well, because people don't know who's who. Genuinely, people don't know who's who. And we're on a radio show tonight, and we've actually just looked at the artwork, and it says Alex and Lisa, and Lisa's underneath Alex, and Alex is underneath Lisa. We've met you guys, like, you know us. This happens all the time. You don't even know who we are. There's no wonder people keep saying, which one's Alex, which one's Lisa? Are anymore.
You're one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we won.
We are. Now, I think that's going to be really useful for people. And honestly, please, if you're listening, don't just take our word for it. Like, go on. You've got videos on YouTube. You've got your pages. Let's just, before we go, tell people where they can look at some of the stuff you do, because we've got our last podcast we did where you can actually see us on YouTube doing tapping on our own YouTube channel. That was the coffee. But there's so many places as well where people can find you too and check you out. Please do, because you'll just love them like we do. We're addicted.
Oh, you guys are beautiful. Thank you. You can, a lot of Jules and my work, because we do what's called tapping tips with Jules and Katie. That's on Katie Walker EFT on YouTube. But we do have, for the Sober October, we've got on Facebook, it's Tapping with Jules and Katie, and that's where all the information about Sober October is. And then we have our own respective Facebook pages, but they do kind of blend. a little bit. So
we don't have a
hopefully
website that's for this business yet. So, but a
Yeah.
lot of our stuff also is on. Well, my website's just www.tappingwithjules.com. So our event, our Sober October event, is actually, you can find that on the website. But all of our stuff is on our Facebook page, Tapping with Jules and Katie. And we've got a little Instagram page as well.
Yeah, you're on Instagram now, because that's fairly new, isn't it? The joint page on Instagram.
Yeah, we're pretty new, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I needed to put that on because somebody was asking on our story yesterday, actually, about tapping. They'd woke up in the night and wanted to know if there was any tapping techniques to go back to sleep. So I tagged you two in it, but I didn't realise you had your own new Instagram page, so I'll have a look for that. But we'll put the links on anyway, won't we, Alex?
Yeah, we will. We'll put the links on and get a nice write-up about you on this, and it will be on YouTube and it'll be on all our usual podcast channels as audio as well. So if you're listening, check out Jules and Katie. They are absolutely awesome. They've saved our lives, changed our truth, isn't it, Lisa?
True. It is actually true.
Amazing, thank you. That's beautiful.
Thanks so much for taking the time, both of you, to come on again. I bet you're sick.
I know you're sick of us yet.
No,
we
can't
love
get
it.
enough of you guys.
We just love your accents.
and
We
what
love
you stand for.
We
Thank
love
you for having
yours.
us again.
Thank you so much, and we'll speak to you both soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.